You kneel in the dirt with your forehead almost touching the ground, and for the first time in what feels like 100 lifetimes, you stop pretending. The room is cold behind you. The night air tastes like iron and snow. In front of you, Rem waits, quiet, wounded, ready to follow you into any lie you decide to call hope. And you break, not loudly, not heroically. You tell her you want to run away. You tell her you are tired, that you are weak, that every time you try to save someone, they die anyway. Then she says your name like it still belongs to someone worth believing in. And somehow, that hurts more than every death. The empty afternoon. You are a shut-in, with convenience store bags hanging from your hands and no reason to hurry home. That is the first truth. Before the magic, before the blood, before the loops. You are a boy who stopped moving forward long before the world ever dragged him somewhere else. Your room became easier than people. Excuses became easier than trying. Somewhere along the line, doing nothing started to feel safer than failing in public. Then the world changes in a blink. 1 second, fluorescent lights. The next, a crowded fantasy market street with horse-drawn carts, unfamiliar language, and sunlight that feels too sharp to be real. You do what someone like you would do. You turn panic into performance. Jokes, bits, references. You act like this is finally the moment your ordinary life reveals its hidden purpose. It would be comforting if it were true. Then you get beaten in an alley by men who do not care that you think you are the protagonist. And a silver-haired girl saves you. She says her name is Satella. You do not know yet why that name matters. You only know she helps a stranger because someone stole her insignia, and you, hungry for meaning, latch on to that kindness instantly. Helping her feels good, necessary, almost romantic. For the first time in a long time, you feel useful. Then you die. Not metaphorically, not almost. A blade opens you, and the world goes dark. And when it returns, you are back at the market, holding the same bags, with no idea what kind of hell has just chosen you. Borrowed purpose. At first, terror comes second to confusion. You test the edges of this impossible thing carefully. The same fruit stand, the same apiceller, the same insignia theft, the same alley. Every failed attempt teaches you one brutal lesson. Death is not an ending for you. It is a reset. So you throw yourself at the problem with the recklessness of someone who mistakes persistence for strength. You chase Felt. You find Old Man Rom. You return to the loot house. You die again and again. But each loop strips away some of the fantasy and leaves behind something more honest. You are not fighting because you are destined. You are fighting because someone was kind to you, and you cannot bear to watch that kindness get murdered. Eventually, with Reinhard's intervention, the night changes. Elsa is driven back. Emilia survives. You survive. The girl whose real name you finally learn smiles at you, and it lands somewhere dangerous inside your chest. Not because it means love, because it means belonging. A possibility you had nearly given up on. Then you wake in Roswell's mansion, wrapped in warmth you did not earn but immediately want to keep. And that is where the next mistake begins. The smile you wear. The mansion is the first place that feels gentle. Beatrice in the library, aloof and impossible. Ram with her sharp tongue. Rem with her cold, unreadable stare. Emilia still kind in a way that makes you want to become better just by standing near her. For a while, the days are almost peaceful. Work, conversation, small embarrassments, little victories. You start to believe maybe suffering was just the price of admission. Then the curse takes hold. You die in your sleep, then by suspicion, then by violence. Rem crushes you because from where she stands, you are a threat circling the people she loves. Every reset drags you back into the same rooms with the same faces. Only now you know how quickly affection can turn into fear. The shape of pride. By the time the royal selection begins, you are already unraveling. You want to stand beside Emilia in the capital, but what you really want is to be seen beside her. You tell yourself it is loyalty. It is partly that. But under it, there is hunger. Ugly, human hunger. To prove that you matter. To prove that all the pain meant something. Julius exposes the lie with elegant brutality. Your challenge is pathetic. Your pride is louder than your strength. And when he beats you in front of everyone, what breaks is not your body. It is the version of yourself you have been performing. Emilia sees it too. Worse, she sees the selfishness under your devotion. You say you did it for her. She asks you when she ever asked. She leaves. Then everything gets worse. The witch's cult moves. Pateljuice closes in. The mansion is doomed. The village is doomed. You run for help and are humiliated again and again. Krush refuses. Anastasia calculates. Priscilla laughs. Every road leads back to corpses. From zero, you try to tell people about return by death, and the unseen hand crushes your heart from the inside before you can speak. It is not just pain. It is isolation made physical. The one truth that explains everything is the one truth you are forbidden to share. So you carry it alone until carrying it turns you monstrous. And then, at your lowest, you ask Rem to run away with you. She listens to all of it. The cowardice, the envy, the self-hatred, the exhaustion so deep it has become part of your bones. Rem does not let you hide behind that. She tells you who she sees. Not a hero, not a genius, not a chosen one. Just Subaru Natsuki. Annoying, loud, reckless, kind. The kind of person who keeps getting back up. The kind she loves, not because he always wins, but because he refuses to stay fallen. And when you ask her to run, she gives you an entire imaginary life where she would have said yes. Then she says no, because the man she loves would not choose this. You breathe in like it is the first honest breath of your life. Then you say the words that matter more than any vow you made before. Starting from zero, the cost of return. Humility does not make things easier. It makes them clear. You bow to Krush and ask for help without pretending you deserve it. You negotiate with Anastasia. You stand before a crowd and speak not like a hero, but like a witness to horror. When the battle comes, it is chaos and fog and terror. Men die screaming. The wail erases people so completely that grief itself gets confused. But this time you are not alone inside your fear. This time your terror has somewhere to go, into strategy, into trust, into the simple act of depending on others. The wail falls. It should feel like triumph. Instead, it feels like a door opening onto a darker room, because Betelgeuse is still waiting. The road to the mansion is lined with the remains of every failure you almost accepted. Fingers, possessions, madness disguised as devotion, the boy who returns. And Betelgeuse himself is what happens when love rots into worship, and worship rots into violence. He keeps calling you slothful because he has surrendered so completely to his own delusion that anyone still trying to think, to feel, to choose looks lazy by comparison. He invades your body. He twists your mind. He pushes you to the edge of losing the last thing that belongs only to you. And still, somehow you return to the one thing despair can never understand. You ask for help. You trust Amelia. You trust Julius. You trust the life in front of you more than the deaths behind you. And that changes everything. By the time Betelgeuse dies for good, dragged into the end he built for himself, you are not fearless. You are simply finished with worshiping your own pain. You return to Amelia not as the boy who thought loving her gave him ownership over her future, but as someone finally learning what love costs when it is real. It costs control. It costs pride. It costs the fantasy that if you just suffer enough, people will owe you understanding. And when she answers with trust instead of distance, it does not feel like a reward. It feels like grace. The world is not safe now. It never will be. Return by death remains yours alone, a private graveyard you have to keep walking through. More losses are coming. More loops, more versions of yourself you will have to bury without witnesses. But the boy who first arrived in this world looking for a role to play is gone. In his place is someone much more fragile and much more durable. Someone who knows courage is not charging in because you think pain will make you important. It is going back after pain has already stripped you clean. It is waking up in the same nightmare and still choosing people. It is hearing your own panic, your own shame, your own craving to be saved, and moving anyway. You are still weak, still impulsive, still scared in ways that leave bruises no one can see. But now, when you stand, it is not to prove you are special. It is because someone is waiting for morning, and you might be able to help them reach it. And for you, that is enough. So the question is not whether you could survive what Subaru survived. The question is, if no one could ever know what it cost you, would you still choose to come back?